Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to be going over how I gave myself possibly the stupidest injury ever. Now, how did this happen? Well, I was filming a YouTube video, as I do from time to time, and I was showing off this pole arm I had made. It was like a battle axe, knightly pole axe type thing. That's meant for dueling and fencing. So I was showing off some moves that I had come up with and sort of like how to use it. And that was fine. I didn't hurt myself doing that. I probably looked stupid, but I hadn't physically hurt myself. But then I started testing it against this old wooden shield I had made. So I was hitting it against the shield, I was stabbing it, and then hitting it with the blade part, and that was all fine. And then I went to hit it with the hammer, and it struck the shield. The actual shaft broke, and it sent the blade tumbling right onto my knuckle. So it cut my knuckle open sort of in a diagonal pattern like that. I looked down and I sort of made like a fist because it hurt, and I saw my knuckle move. I saw the bone pop up, which I knew was pretty bad. So to the ER we went. It was a pretty long wait, but I mean, you know, my thing wasn't too urgent. I don't live in a failed state like the US, so I didn't have to pay for anything. That was nice. I just got some stitches. They sent me home, and that was that. I lied, that wasn't it. I had cut the tendon, so they had to, not all the way, but like half the way. So they had to stitch the tendon to my actual skin to keep it from tearing all the way. And then I guess I just have like a limp, paralyzed finger I couldn't move. But I couldn't move my finger much. I still can't really move my finger because the tendon is all screwed up. So I can sort of barely wiggle my finger there. So I had filmed a good amount of the video before I hurt myself. So I'm gonna let that play now. I think it's about 2 or 3 minutes long. So I'll let that segment play. Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to be showing off this steel pole axe that I made. So before we get into testing, I'll talk about the construction. Starting with the shaft, I used a softwood. It's just fir, which isn't the best decision for a weapon like this because it's pretty brittle and it might just like break on me, but we'll see. But it's super light because I dried it out for 2 months. Now, since the shaft is so light, it puts the balance point very far forward, which gives a lot of momentum when you're swinging it. So the head of the pole axe is fully steel, and it's only really made out of 3 components. So we have a steel tube right here, we have a spike on top, and then we have a hatchet head that forms the hammer and the blade of the axe. So I actually forged this hatchet head, and that's why it's like so thin and so drawn out to be a bit wider. So I forged that to get it down thinner, and then I just cut some notches in this tube and I just slid the hatchet head down into it, and I did some shitty welds there. I'm so bad at welding, it's crazy. But I did some shitty welds to hold everything in place. Now the spike is just part of the metal handle of the axe, the hatchet. It was kind of weird. It had like a metal handle wrapped in like leather. But I took some of that handle and I just kind of turned it into a spike with an angle grinder. I just cut it, and then I just kind of welded it vaguely to either the tube or the hatchet head. I don't really know, but it's held so far. And then the other component here in terms of the weapon is the hook right here. And the hook is actually just the metal from the tube here that I pulled down after I cut 2 notches there to make the slit for the hatchet to fit in. I just kind of pulled it down and shaped it into a vague hook. And this honestly is a bit of a failure point because it bends super easily. So from tip to the base of the tube here, it's 10.5 inches. And then handle length, like the part that your hands can actually touch, is 47 inches. So in total, it's about 57.5 inches, which is a pretty good amount of reach. I'm pretty happy with it. So before I go out and do some testing, I want to have a disclaimer that I don't know how to use this. I have no clue how to fence with a pole arm. I have no clue how to fence in general. I have never read a historical manual for the medieval era or Renaissance or anything. These are just things that I've learned from playing outside, basically. 19-year-old man playing with a stick outside. So we're out here in the woods now behind my cabin. I've set up a stick hanging from a tree branch as like my target, and I'm just gonna go over some things I've been experimenting with in terms of using this as a weapon. Now the first thing you'd be tempted to do, right, swing it almost like a baseball bat or like an axe, you know? You're just gonna swing it. And yeah, that can be effective, but it leaves you exposed for a line. So instead, go to something like a punching motion. Like this, right? Using your arms. It's not your whole body this time, just your arms. And you can still combine it with your whole body by stepping, right? So I'm stepping into my punch. That's way faster, way harder, because you're using the mechanics of the body right. Now another thing you can do is just control your opponent. You can block like this, right? It's coming at you, nothing's getting through the shaft here. And then you can quickly get him fetched up in between the spear and the axe like that. And feel free to hit with the other end of it too. It's still a wooden club basically. It's gonna hurt. Shit. And you can't forget the hook part here. Here I don't really have like an analog to hook except the string. But this gives me a lot of control obviously. But it's a bit risky because I'm kind of bound up here. What if my opponent pulls out a rondel dagger and gets in between my armor there? I need to be ready for that. Sometimes it gets hard to get out of here, you know? But it's an option. Next up, I'm just gonna try hitting that shield, just wailing on it and seeing what happens. Not going through with the spike. So there you've seen it. That was the strike of me hitting the shield. Hammer hit the shield, shaft broke, blade went right into my hand. And it's really stupid because I'm playing with a crappy fake medieval weapon there and I almost cut my finger off. Dumbest thing I've done on this channel, and I made a whole video of throwing an anvil out of a window. I guess next up we'll drop the anvil then. So today is July 8th or 9th, and today will mark the day that I'm going to start posting more videos for the rest of the year. I want to get more slop onto my channel so that if someone stumbles across my page, it's even funnier to find these random assortment of videos of me making like a crappy looking medieval spear or testing out a weird battle axe or something like that. But that's how I hurt my hand. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.